Applying associative property here, we get x dash plus x plus y equal to x dash plus x plus z. But x dash plus x is nothing but 0 vector, and so 0 vector plus y equal to 0 vector plus z, and applying the third property, what we get is y is equal to z. Now, using this property, we prove that 0 vector is unique. Suppose we have two 0 vectors, 0 theta 1 and theta 2 are two 0 vectors. Then theta 1 being a 0 vector and theta 2 being a vector, what we get is theta 1 plus theta 2 equal to theta 2 plus theta 1 is equal to theta 2. Theta 2 being a 0 vector, applying the property of 0 vector, again we get theta 1 plus theta 2 equal to theta 2 plus theta 1 is equal to theta 1. From these two equations, what we get is multiply, if they are equal. So, theta 2 is equal to theta 1 plus theta 2, and that is equal to theta 1, and that says that our 0 vector is unique. Similarly, we can prove that inverse of a vector is unique, and we denote if x is a vector, then we denote the inverse of the vector x is by minus x. That means, for any vector x, we get the result x plus minus x is equal to minus x plus x is equal to 0 vector. Now, I prove the last property. Remaining properties are simple, so I leave it to the student, but last property says that, or let me take the property y, v, 0 into x is equal to theta vector. We want to prove this result. Now, let us take 0 x is equal to 0 plus 0 into x. Applying one axiom here, we get 0 x plus 0 x. Again, using the property of 0 vector, we get 0 x is equal to 0 x plus theta also. All right, right hand sides are equal, left hand sides are equal. So, right hand side should be also equal, and that implies 0 x plus 0 x is equal to 0 x plus theta. Applying cancellation law, what we get is 0 x is equal to theta. Now, I prove the last property. Alpha x equal to 0, we are 0 vector we are given, and we want to prove that either alpha equal to 0 or x is a 0 vector. If alpha equal to 0, we are through. If alpha is not 0, then alpha being a real number, the real number 1 upon alpha is well defined, and so we pre-multiply this equation by 1 upon alpha, we get, just now we proved that if you take any real number alpha, alpha into 0 vector is always equal, it must be a 0 vector. Again, using one axiom here, we get here 1 upon alpha into alpha x is equal to 0 vector, and this gives you 1 into x equal to 0 vector. Using the last axioms, what we get is x is equal to 0 vector. So, these are some elementary properties of our vector space. Now, we have some geometrical interpretation. No, do not. We have geometrical interpretation of our vector space R 2 and R 3. We are familiar with Cartesian plane, x dash and we know that if P is any point in the plane and if this coordinate is y and this coordinate is x, then P is a point with x y, and with this x pair x y, order pair x y, all right, we associate our one element of R 2. Then there exists a 1-1 correspondence between R 2 and the points of the plane, and so we represent our vector space R 2 in Cartesian plane as follows. Suppose we have a vector u is equal to x y. Then we take the point P whose coordinates are x y, and then we join this point P with origin, and we make arrow here and we write down here x. Sorry, this is our vector u. If V is another vector P q and q is a point here with coordinates P q, then we write down here, we make arrow, and this is our vector V. Now, how to take addition and scalar multiplication here, representation? Then we complete the parallelogram and we can prove that if R is a point, then coordinates of this point are x plus p and y plus q. And our definition of addition here says that u plus v is equal to x plus p and y plus q. That means, if you take this diagonal of the parallelogram, then it represents the vector u plus v. If you want to write down 2u, how to represent 2u? Then 2u is equal to 2x into 2y. What we do here is we extend this line so that OP is equal to PL. Then coordinates of the point L will be 2x into 2y, and so the line OL, all right, this segment will represent the vector twice u. Same thing what we do is that using 1-1 correspondence between triples and the point in a space, all right, this is we have a vector representation of our vector space R 3. In mathematics, when we study a set S, then mostly we are not interested in the whole set, but some special subsets of a given set S. The illustration is the Cartesian plane. We are not interested in Cartesian plane, but we are interested in some special subsets of Cartesian plane. For example, straight line, circle, ellipse, parabola, hyperbola, and if we take 3-dimensional space, then we are interested in straight line, plane, sphere, ellipsoid, all the things. So, in the study of vector space also, all right, we are interested into some special subsets of a vector space. But here we want to study those subsets of a vector space, all right, which themselves becomes a vector space under the same operation of addition and multiplication, scalar multiplication, and such a subset is called a subspace of a vector space. Let us see on the screen. A non-empty subset U of real vector space V is called a subspace of V if U itself becomes a vector space under the same operation of vector addition and scalar multiplication as defined in V. Now, before we take examples, let us take this case. Suppose V is a vector space and U is a non-empty subset of V, and we want to check whether U is a subspace of V or not. Then we have to examine all the axioms, 10 axioms, but all right, we will see immediately now that some of the axioms are automatically satisfied, because that if x, y, z belongs to U, then the vectors x, y, z are also elements of V, and V being a vector space, commutative property, associative property, both are satisfied. And if alpha and beta are real numbers, then taking this x and y as an element of alpha V vector space, we have all the properties that alpha into x plus y is equal to alpha x plus alpha y, alpha plus beta into x is equal to alpha x plus beta x, alpha into beta x is equal to alpha beta x, and 1 into x is equal to x. Only properties, all right, we have to verify are this: existence of first property, that we are not sure whether x plus y belongs to U. Third, existence of 0 vector, whether we are not sure that 0 vector belongs to U. Third property, that if x is vector belonging to U, we are not sure that its inverse minus x also belongs to U. And finally, if alpha is a real number, then we are not sure about that alpha x belongs to U. So, we have to verify only these 4 properties, that if U is a non-empty subset of a vector space V, then for vectors x and y, x plus y belongs to U, 0 vector belongs to U. If x belongs to U, then its inverse minus x also belongs to U, and for a real number alpha, alpha x also belongs to U. And we will surprise that, all right, it is very interesting to know that only these 2 properties, all right, we have to check, because we can derive these 2 properties from this first and last property. That is our theorem 2. A non-empty subset U of a real vector space V becomes a subspace of V if and only if U satisfies the following conditions: for x, y belonging to U and alpha belonging to R, x plus y belongs to U and alpha x also belongs to U. First part is very simple. If U is a subspace of V, then U itself becomes a vector space under the same operation of addition and scalar multiplication, and so whenever x and y both belongs to U and alpha is a real number, x plus y belongs to U and alpha x also belongs to U. Conversely, suppose these 2 conditions are satisfied, this condition and this condition, then taking alpha equal to 0, 0 into x equal to theta belongs to U, and taking alpha is equal to minus 1, we get minus 1 into x, and just now we in the theorem first we prove that minus 1 into x is equal to minus x also belongs to U. Moreover, this property says that vector addition is a binary operation on U. So, U is closed under binary operation, and for real number alpha, alpha x also belongs to U. And from these two properties we derive that 0 vector belongs to U and inverse of a vector also belongs to U. And so, U becomes a vector space itself under addition and scalar multiplication of the vector space V, and so U becomes a subspace. We can still simplify this theorem combining these two properties. All right, we have a next theorem.
You can see on this.
Sure. Yes, a non-empty subset U of a real vector space V becomes a subspace of V if and only if alpha x plus beta y belongs to U for each x and y belonging to U and alpha beta belonging to R. Proof is simple. Suppose this condition is satisfied, that alpha x plus beta y belongs to U for all alpha beta, real number alpha beta and vectors x y. Taking alpha equal to 1 and beta equal to 1, we get the first condition, x plus y belongs to U. Second, taking beta equal to 0, we get alpha x also belongs to U, and that implies both the conditions of the theorem are satisfied, and so U becomes a subspace. Converse part I leave it to the students. Now, let us take some illustration of subspaces. Our first illustration is that show that U is equal to all x point x y belonging to R2 such that 2x minus 3y is equal to 0 is a subspace of R2. Now, we take 2 points